So, I don't know if you guys are too young to remember Game Sharks. I'm not even sure if they make them anymore. They were this cool little thing that you could use to plug into a game console and use to hack the game and discover cheats. My buddy still has this one for his old Nintendo 64, and we still like to mess around with it sometimes. I found a used copy of Majora's Mask the other day, and I realized that we never tried to hack it. So I dropped $5 onto the cartridge. Last night I called up my friend, grabbed a case of beer, and then we went over to his house for some sweet drunken retro gaming. We were having a great time, making Link fall through the floors and walk through walls and all that good stuff. Hell, we even found a code that we used to get in a large number of those annoying little dogs to spawn, swamping the map and generally causing chaos. After that standard cheats got boring, we decided to run the code search on the Game Shark again. Oddly enough, the Game Shark came up with a brand new code sequence, one we'd never seen before. Being slightly buzzed from the beer and bored with throwing infinite bombs at unsuspecting enemies, we punched the code in there and fired up the game. Game Sharks have a tendency to cause minor glitches, so neither of us were really surprised when the game completely skipped over to the menu screens and just jumped readily into action. We were outside of the snow temple, and the clock was stuck just a couple of minutes and to the midnight on the third day. The moon was leering towards us from the sky and nearly ready to crash onto the ground. Other than the frozen time, the game seemed to be functional, so I pressed forward and used a control stick and send Link off into exploration of the world as it teetered directly at the brink of the apocalypse. There was a distant lack of enemies and strange patterns of pixels that would randomly appear and disappear. Naturally, we were starting to get pretty bored since we had nothing to kill, and I decided to shut the console off and try another code. But I figured out how much I can look up the moon at one time. To my surprise, it was much larger than it expected to before, and we realized that it was still approaching the Earth, despite the fact that the time had stopped. It was nearly time to really crash down. We decided to see if anything cool would happen at the end of the game cutscene. Oddly enough, the cutscene never triggered. Instead, the moon just kept going in closer and closer, and I could barely make out any movement. And I realized that the spinning Majora's Mask from the menu screen was appearing on the surface in a flurry of oddly shaped pixels. The spinning mask continued to get clearer and clearer until it completely hid the moon's evil grin. Something seemed very wrong with this mask, though. It seemed too well for an image on the Nintendo 64. The lines and details were very clear, and the colors were too far vivid. As the mask spun around, the eyes seemed to follow me, staring directly at me, and I was hypnotized by it. I sat there, beer in one hand, control in the other hand, unable to look the other way from the screen. Extremely disturbing images began to flash across the TV screen as the moon decided to continue to approach. Everything appeared to be fine, and quick glimpses of the poor, innocent animated characters of the town, showing them dying extremely gruesome deaths. Majora's Mask was completed one final rotation, stopped moving, and stared directly at us. A gnarled hand came up and slowly pulling the mask away. Underneath it was the Skull Kid. A horrible expression of an agony and pain burned on his face. He opened his mouth and with the sickening groan of the cartridge-era video game sounds, uttered the words that could have been haunting me at night. "You lost the game." The screen went to pitch black and then the Nintendo 64 shut off. Me and my friend then looked at each other, unsure of what we had just seen. He claims it was just an alternative ending of the producers that didn't use the actual game, but the whole thing seemed way too paranormal to be that easily explained. And that, my pretties, was Majora's Mask, a Legend of Zelda lost episode, creepypasta. Well, not lost episode, but like lost gaming, creepypasta. Or video game creepypasta, whatever you prefer to call this one. My final thoughts on this story. I remember Creepypasta actually narrated this, and to get not confused with the Ben Drowned story, this Majora's Mask creepypasta is actually a Legend of Zelda creepypasta about hacking a used copy of the Majora's Mask with a Game Shark. And it's not to be confused with that another popular Majora's Mask creepypasta with Ben Drowned. This one was a pretty damn good, awesome story. And I really gotta say, I mean, the detail of it, even though it was short, yes, but I still really found this story to be, really enjoyable and well made. I mean, this would honestly would be a pretty good story for what this is. So, yeah, the grammar was pretty good in regards to how the story is structured and all. And I definitely gotta say, yeah, the storyline was pretty believable in that. And I can see, since this is like a very older pasta, I'm willing to really say that it's a pretty good story. I still find this one to be, a really awesome concept for a story like this. And it's honestly still a really fun one. So, anyways, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I gotta really state that despite it being a very fun pasta, it's still really awesome. And I recommend you guys check this story out if you haven't. So, anyways, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to stick here and say this right now, that this is just simply my own personal opinion on this story. Now, I don't know who the original author of this story is, so if the author likes to, state who he or she is, let me know who they are in the comments below so I can be sure to give them proper credit. If I do find out who the author is, I'll be sure to give them proper credit. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as anonymous for now because I don't know who the original author of this story is. But I really got to say it's a pretty good story. So, yeah. Anyways, with that being said, and with that being the case, I still find this pasta to be a really great one. It's enjoyable. And I recommend you guys take a look at it if you haven't. So, anyways, with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to sit here and just say this is just my own opinion. Like I said before, if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these pastas. This is just simply my own personal thoughts. Now, I'm going to give this story a 10 out of 10. It's a good Legend of Zelda creepypasta. It's a short one, but I know for a fact that Ben Drowned is actually one of the most popular creepypastas, which I do plan to maybe cover that one, but I don't really know because of how long it is, but we'll see though. No promises, but like I said, it's a really interesting story. So I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you personally think of this story? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better. Feel free to leave me what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.